Hello and welcome to the Vital Blend. My name is Anthony Vita, and I'm glad you're here. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about weight loss and specifically how to lose weight the healthy way. I'm also going to introduce you to something called calorie density, which I believe is the best way to lose weight in a healthy fashion. I mean, look, being overweight these days, it is more and more common. If you run the numbers, most Americans are either overweight or they're obese. And being overweight is something that can lead to a lot of serious issues. It can lead to type 2 diabetes, having a heart attack or stroke. For men, it can be an enlarged prostate. For women, it could be reduced fertilization rates. Certainly, having too much weight can add a lot of stress to your joints, which can make it tough going up and down stairs, bending over. Eventually, that may catch up with you. And also, it could be hard doing physical things like playing with your kids, going on amusement rides with your kids, not being able to fit in the seat. I've heard plenty of stories about that. Being overweight can lower your self-esteem and destroy your self-confidence. And what's great is that when you lose the weight, you can get those back. And I know from experience, after I lost weight, I lost 50 pounds, and I've talked about this, and I will be telling my story here soon. You lose weight, and people comment, and they say, hey, you're looking good, you're doing the right thing, it makes you feel good. Once you lose the weight and you got this confidence, you never know where it can lead. Now, when it comes to losing weight, there's many ways that you can do it, and some ways are going to be healthier than others, and some make more sense than others. I mean, look, you could not eat anything at all and you'll lose weight. Now, I wouldn't recommend this unless it's medically supervised, but some people do go this route. Some people develop some habits. They start smoking and they lose weight because your metabolism is getting revved up, or you develop a cocaine habit. Those are great ways to lose weight. I would not recommend them though. They're not healthy. You can count calories. People do this all the time on these weight loss diets where you're counting calories. Basically, they're eating less amounts of foods they shouldn't be eating anyway. And so this is why people go up and down with the weight, and they can never get off the foods that they should be, is because these types of diets, they teach you how to cheat. They don't really teach you how to eat. They don't teach you about your body, and they don't teach you about food. And so this is why I'm going to share with you the concept of calorie density, all right? Because not all calories are created equal, and we need calories. Calories equal energy, and that's why we eat. We don't eat because there's a new restaurant down the street, or they're suddenly putting burgers in between two donuts, which is what people are eating nowadays. I can't believe it, but not all calories are created equal, okay? Check this out. Okay, this is a graphic from Forks Over Knives, and it shows you what 480 calories look like. Now, over on the right, you'll see a plate. It's got a baked potato in it, which for some is enough. It'll fill them up. But then there's celery and cucumber and carrots and strawberries. Can you eat all of this? There's a lot of people that couldn't eat this entire plate. 480 calories. This is sure to fill you up. I mean, look, your stomach can only hold but so much food. I think it's about a quart. All right, and so for a quart of real food, that's going to be a certain number of calories. Now look over here on the left. We have a plate with 480 calories, same as the right, but is that going to fill you up? No, it's not going to fill you up. That's the oil that's going on your salad. You're just getting started eating. Or maybe you're not having a salad. Maybe that oil is cooked into the food that you're about to eat. Can you see how you can add the calories without getting the bulk? If you ate this plate that's on the right, you would get filled up because that is real food. It has bulk, it has fiber, it fills you up. You can rely on your body's natural appetite because, as I said, your stomach can only fit but so much. And your body is looking for a certain amount of nutrients, and it also has stretch receptors inside so that it knows when you're finished, when you've had enough. It's really important to understand this, that our human bodies are ancient, okay? We have not changed in the past 100, 200, 300 years, or even longer than that. But what has changed? Everything has changed. Our culture has changed, the food has changed, the way we eat, when we eat, how we eat, everything has changed. But it really doesn't matter because we're still ancient, and we have to keep that in mind. we really don't belong in this modern world. It's not really great for human health. And the more that we get away from eating garden foods, real foods, that's when we start moving into food addiction, which I'll be talking about in a future video. And basically, we start to run into obesity issues and becoming overweight. Being overweight is a result of the consumption of too many calorically dense foods, like oils, which are the most dense of them all. 4,000 calories per pound, and this is what gets us to calorie density. I'm going to show you this chart. So you see this wide range of foods here. It's basically ranked by the amount of calories per pound, and no shock that oils are at the bottom of the list, 4,000 calories per pound, the most calorically dense food that you could eat. Not far behind it, your nuts, your seeds, your butters. You got crackers and popcorn and cheese and bread and ice cream and avocados, all over 700 calories per pound. If I had to put meat into this chart, it would be somewhere between the avocados and the ice cream, generally 800 to 1,000 calories per pound. Now look what happens when we drop below 600 calories per pound, all right? We have beans and legumes. We have whole grains. We have potatoes, corn, squash, oats, fruits, and vegetables. These are the low-calorie foods that you want to fill your plate, like we saw in the earlier example. These foods, they fill your plate and they fill your stomach. Why do you want to fill your stomach? Well, because your stomach has receptors for not only nutrients, but stretch. So you want to fill your stomach with as many nutrients and as much bulk as you can for the least amount of calories. And you can do that when you eat real food. However, you blow it totally out of the water once we start introducing the refined foods, where we've taken real foods and we've ground them down into flours and syrups and oils. The calories get concentrated, and you can no longer rely on your body's natural appetite. And that's where people start to go sideways. You can't be adding these foods in. It's kind of like if somebody gives you a check for $1 million, and you look at it and you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm rich, $1 million, and then you go to cash it and you find out that it isn't really there. That's the promise of all these calorically dense foods, is they give you the calories, but they don't give you the bulk. They don't give you the satisfaction. And so what happens? You keep on eating. And that's where you get the overconsumption of calories. Okay, now let's go through a couple of examples. Check this out. All right, so here we have a skinless chicken breast, which a lot of people go to for weight loss, often referred to as a lean protein. But is it really lean? 19% fat when you run the numbers. And I know some people say, well, 19% fat, it's less than 20. It isn't all that bad. And I would say that 19% fat is probably at the higher end of a low-fat diet. Certainly we can do better, and people don't just eat skinless chicken breast. Usually they'll cook the chicken in oil, maybe butter, or they'll add cheese at some point. Ever heard of chicken parmesan? So you have to keep that in mind too. Now, how about this as another option, all right? You could have a sweet potato. The same in terms of weight, 114 grams, but look at the difference in fat, 1% fat. And sweet potatoes, they come with fiber, they have a lot more bulk, they'll fill you up, a lot more nutrients, and people can go sideways on potatoes too. They tend to add a lot of butter and cheese and sour cream and stuff like that. You don't have to, add some cinnamon, add some salsa. You can do whatever you want, make a healthy topping for your baked potato. I just wanted to show you that using the calorie density chart, you can make a better choice that will help you with weight loss. Now here's another one. Okay, here we have Laura's so-called lean beef. You take a look at this package, you're trying to lose weight. Okay, it's 4% fat. Wow, I got to get this to lose weight. Not so fast. We take a look at the calories, and the calories from fat, and Laura's lean beef is actually 50% fat. And so how are you going to lose weight eating something that is 50% fat? Well, the problem is that you won't, or you may lose some weight and you hit a point where you've stopped and you're wondering what's going on. This is the kind of thing that will not help you. Now, here is an alternative. Here is something that you can eat that will help you to lose weight. How about brown rice? And you can do the same thing with white rice. It doesn't matter. For about the same weight, right, 98 grams, you'll have something here that is only about 6% fat. And, like the sweet potato, it's got fiber, it's got bulk, it'll help to fill you up. You can add vegetables to it, other low-calorie vegetables like broccoli, carrots. You can put some onions in there too. Have yourself a nice stir fry. You don't have to use oil. That's where they go really wrong. They have a nice healthy stir fry, and they cook it in 4,000 calories per pound oil. All right, that's not going to help you to lose weight. Cook it in water. You can use water instead of oil, or use vegetable broth. The vegetable broth, you get a low sodium, oil-free broth, and it can add some nice flavors. So these are some things, some options you may want to think about using the calorie density chart. And here are some action steps for you. If this all sounds great to you and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is pretty interesting, it's maybe changing the way that I'm thinking about food and weight loss, here are 3 action steps that you can take to lose weight using calorie density. All right, number 1, you want to limit or avoid calorie dense foods. So basically you want to take a look at that calorie density chart that I showed you earlier, and you want to stick to the foods that are below 600 calories per pound. And I would say eat as much of that as you want to. Now, when people hear me say that, they often think, or they misconstrue it to me saying, eat as much as you can. This isn't a race. This isn't a challenge, okay? This isn't the hot dog contest. You can eat as much as you want, because you're only going to be able to eat but so much when you're eating real garden foods, because it's got fiber, it's got bulk. And when you eat according to your own body's natural appetite, you will find that real foods, they fill you up. Okay, here is tip number 2. You want to start each meal with a soup or salad. Okay, now this is a big one. Before you get ready to eat, you want to start off with a salad or a hearty soup or stew. Okay, this will help to fill your stomach up before you start moving into the bulk foods, okay? Maybe before you eat the potatoes and you eat the rice. And what you'll find is when you move from the soup and salad and you start eating the entree, that you won't be as inclined to keep on eating and eating and eating at the entree. And so this gets me into step number 3, tip number 3, which is the 50-50 plate, which is basically, how your plate should look when you start eating the entree. This is after you've had your soup or salad, and now you're eating your main dish. Split up your plate into 2 halves. One half would have your starchy vegetables like your baked potato or your brown rice or your squash or corn, and the other half would be like your non-starchy vegetables like maybe your broccoli or onions and carrots and that kind of stuff. And then if you're still hungry after all of that, then have some fruit and keep on eating fruit until you're full. You'll probably find that you are full after eating all of this food in the way that I have advised. And, there was something that Dr. Joel Fuhrman said in a PBS special about 10 or so years ago that really, really resonated, and it makes sense, and it's true, okay? This is what he said. He said, ever watched Gilligan's Island? I finally figured out scientifically that Skipper never really lived on that island. He couldn't have. Eating all those natural foods, he couldn't have become overweight like that. It's impossible to become overweight eating the right foods. And Dr. Fuhrman is 100% right. When we can rely on our body's natural appetite mechanism, we will not be overweight, because that's not how our body was designed. However, once we start consuming these foods that have been manipulated by man and, working with the calories and, processing them into oils and flours and syrups, this is where we go wrong. This is where we cheat our body, and we run the risk of overeating calories and eating calories that are too calorically dense, and it destroys weight loss. And so if this is something that you want to get handled for whatever reason, you may want to look at calorie density as a way to get a control over your weight and over your health, because this will manifest into many other areas. I've got some resources for you below in the description to check out for calorie density. And of course, if you need help losing weight, this is what I do. I'll be glad to help you. Check out my contact information below. I'll be glad to talk with you. Also, check me out on Facebook, The Vital Blend over there. Lots of great transformation stories, people who have lost weight. I share great advice from the plant-based gurus in the field. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, okay? And if you have lost weight using calorie density or a whole food plant-based diet, drop it below in the comments. Let me know. If you're struggling, let me know what you're struggling with. You know, if you kind of like this concept of calorie density, but you can't seem to wrap your head around something, or you've got some roadblocks, let me know. Be glad to help you out. And of course, be sure to subscribe to more videos are on the way. All right. So until next time, take care of yourself and eat more plants. All right. I'll see you soon.